Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button. Excuse me. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. And I also have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page. And for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Apple Crow says, seeing Ultron in the thumbnail reminded me that we never got an answer to why the TVA was so worried about robots. I think it was just a funny gag. That's all it was, Apple Crow, and they didn't think too much of it. And that's kind of what it came down to. Since we're on the subject of Loki anyway, I might as well just start off with that first. So Kate Heron, who is the director and the executive producer of Loki, says that she is not returning for season 2. This has always been planned. Well, she said season 2 just kind of became a thing. It was just announced that, hey, it's going to happen. And she had always was only going to be there for one season anyway. That was it, or whatever, the one and done. So she's not coming back for that. It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to get to fill her shoes at that point. And I don't know. If the writers are coming back, the same writer coming back, then that would be great. That's half the battle right there. And the direction style would work as well. So if they can find the right director, which they will, it's Marvel, so it'll work. Hey, Stanley. So sad news, but also not too unexpected, in the grand scheme of things. But the main thing that I was going to get at was today. So I was reading like this little bit of an article in the Hollywood Reporter, and they were talking about, it keeps rearing its ugly head every now and then. Comic book creators get paid pretty much a pittance for, especially if you work for DC or Marvel and you create a character, an iconic character even, for those, the big houses, if you will. And now, you have movies on top of that. So you'll have, a Thanos character, of course, in 10 movies or so that generate $10 billion. So, those 10 movies. So I don't know. Do you, how much compensation do you give a creator of Thanos? Jim Starlin, by the way, is the creator of Thanos. And how do you plan out for this as a comic book company to give out compensation to the creators of the content that you're going to use maybe in some other format? And because, of course, Thanos would not exist without Jim Starlin. Same thing like Winter Soldier and Ed Brubaker. Ed Brubaker, I believe, is on record as saying that he gets more money for the royalties for his appearance in, I forget which Avengers movie it was. He gets more money than he gets for royalties on Winter Soldier. Yeah. And a lot more is what he says, like a lot more money for the royalties that he played him, a character in the movie versus. So it's wrong. It definitely is wrong. But at the same time, what do you do as a comic book company, which don't make that much money, really? I mean, they make money, but not a lot of money, not now. And what do you do in the contract? Do you stipulate that, if it goes into some other media and becomes, very profitable, that they get a certain percentage of it? How do you do this? Because I mean, there's no doing what they did with Siegel and Schuster with Superman back in the 30s, where they sold the character for $130, literally $130. And then, of course, the families, the estates of those two men fought Warner Brothers in court and won finally, and they actually retained control of the character again, um, and license it out to DC and Warner Brothers and all that kind of stuff. But still, I mean, Stanley says if the character is created as paid work and they have not rights that, well, not necessarily, Stanley, because I mean, what kind of I don't know, what kind of monetary value can you put on a creation, if you will? I mean, this is why Image Comics was made. Image Comics, of course, being a creator-owned company, and you have people like Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, people of that nature. Jim Lee even at one point was involved with Image Comics, and of course now he's over at DC again. But still, that was the reason why Image Comics was made, was so that creators didn't get screwed, so that they actually retained rights to their characters, versus a oh, you're getting a salary, so get in there and create me some more characters like Thanos, that kind of thing. But in the contracts, Jim Starlin actually says that in the contract that they sign, it tells them that the company can change things, of course, to make things better and even compensate. Because actually, Jim Starlin had complained about it. He complained. He's like, "Hey, you guys are making billions off of this character I created, and I'm getting nothing from it." And Marvel, actually, Disney was good about it, and they gave him money. And he didn't say how much money he got, but he said it was enough. And he said they made it right, which is really all people are asking for, is when you are working and using your creativity, and you're making something that resonates with so many people, or becomes iconic, that kind of thing. It should be compensated. It really should be, not just saying, oh, it's a contract and you made a character, you're shit out of luck now. Yes, you could do that for, like, if you're doing web design and stuff like that, and you're working for a client, and I mean, you're selling your character at that point, but or whatever mascot. Basically, the client is giving you the specs of what they want, and you're working with that client to create that character. So that's a bit different than comics, where you are going in and you are creating this from scratch, and then putting it on the page and going to your editor and going, "What do you think of this guy?" And they're like, "It's good, kid. Go for it." That's completely on your own at that point. Yeah. Stanley says the contract says DC and Marvel get the rights. Yeah, but you really have no choice in that matter. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there needs to be some kind of good compensation for creators of this stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to have people not creating this stuff anymore. Is what's going to happen. You're going to have people going over to Image and or doing their own thing. I mean, there's a lot of small comic presses out there right now that are, the creators are retaining control of their properties and their characters. Just because of all of this. This has been going on for decades, quite honestly. It has been going on. It's not going to be solved here, not on one Saturday morning of, a couple of minutes of talking about it. This is something that's a bigger issue, of course, in the industry, and needs to be addressed, quite honestly, by the industry. And they need to, I don't know, come to some kind of agreement. There's no union that I know of for comic creators, and maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe there needs to be some kind of, I don't know, a comic creators union or something like that. So maybe that would be the whole thing. Stanley says, "What, companies screwing over their workers? I'm shocked. This is not possible in capitalism. Of course not. Never happens. The workers are always treated fairly and given everything that they're deserved." And that's what happens with the proletariat. Yes. Da, Kamerad. Da Tovarich. Okay. Well, on that note, we're never going to solve that one, but I just wanted to bring it up. It was an interesting article. And yes, it got me thinking again about it, and that's kind of why it came to the forefront. And also, it was a slow news week too, so I figured, why not? What the hell? I'll bring it in here and see what people think. Yeah, and definitely go down to the chat if you're watching this on video. Just go down the chat, the comment section, and comment away. Definitely, I answer those comments. I really do, for better or worse. So we got a trailer for the season 3 return of Titans, and we got a release date as well. So August 12th, the Dick Jokes return. That's right. And that's Dick with a capital D. For Dick Grayson, of course. August 12th, HBO Max, we're getting Titans season 3. I believe they said the first 3 episodes are dropping all at once, and then there's going to be 1 episode a week thereafter. And I believe it's on Thursdays, I want to say. I think it's on Thursdays. So what is August 12th? I can't remember offhand. Let me take a look. August 12th is, yes, a Thursday. So it's going to be every Thursday thereafter. And yes, I am going to be covering season 3 because, quite honestly, they make their own dick jokes within the episodes themselves. But I like making my own dick jokes as well because it's fun and easy to do, especially with that show. I'll be talking about stuff in a minute, Stanley. If you just wait, I've got stuff in there. Yeah. So, but yeah, dick jokes. That's coming up August 12th is what we're gonna get at there. WandaVision's Matt Shockman is going to direct the next Kelvin Universe Star Trek movie, which actually has a script. I didn't think it did, but it actually does have a script. So, okay, I'm not. Excuse me. And sorry about the really bad piano that you can hear in the background too, from my fucking neighbor across the way, who has a piano for some reason. WandaVision's so I'm not a fan of the Kelvin universe. Obviously, I am definitely not a fan of the Kelvin universe. So I'm not jazzed about this at all. It's been talked about for a while now. They're going to be doing another Star Trek movie. Supposedly Quentin Tarantino is going to do a Star Trek movie and write one, direct one, but it's Quentin Tarantino, and who knows if he'll ever make another movie again. Yeah, that's the other thing too, Penn, is that everyone's contracts have expired. So they're going to have to re-sign everybody to large amounts of money. It's not like Chris Pine's really doing anything, to tell you the truth. Neither is Zachary Quinto. Anton Yeltsin is dead, unfortunately. Simon Pegg is just looking really old to have him be Scotty. So that's going to be weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not too jazzed about it. Alvaro says, I won't be surprised when they announce yet another Star Trek project 6 months from now. I'm not either. It's the never-ending shit fest of Star Trek now. It's not even good Star Trek. It's not sci-fi is really what it is. It really isn't sci-fi. It's just action sci-fi is really what it is. It's John Wick in space. It really is. And not even good John Wick. It's Gunpowder Milkshake in space. Yes, I did see Gunpowder Milkshake. I'm not going to give any spoilers out. I'll do that tomorrow. But yeah. Oof. Yeah. Penn says season 3 might be better of Titans. The trailer looked good, but remember, the trailer always looks good for Titans, and then we get into it, and it's like, oh my god, what a shit show this is. So I'm not holding up any hopes for that one. Stanley says, send Morks another Titans poster. He'll be grateful. That's if I get one. I mean, so the reason why it's a short, why it's a slow news week, I guess you could say, is because this is normally Comic-Con season. This really is where Comic-Con season falls in. And I think people are expecting Comic-Con to come back now, after having a year of no Comic-Con. And they usually steer clear of any kind of announcements around this time because they're going to come out at Comic-Con. And yes, we're going to be doing the Comic-Con thing at home. I believe next week is when it's happening. I truly forgot when it's going to happen. But yeah, I that's why there's excuse me, not that much stuff going on. Yeah. Anyway, Apple Crow says it's John Wick 3 good, then goes off the rails, and Halle Berry forces her way in. Comic Con Delta variant. It's going to be Comic Con Lambda variant, is what it's going to be. Lambda, which is going on right now as the Lambda variant, as well as the Delta variant. See, you guys get to learn things when you come here. I bet you never heard about the Lambda variant, did you? Now you're going to look it up and you're going to say, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. And speaking of John Wick, there's a series that's going to be coming out on Stars, which means I'll never see it. It's a prequel called The Continental. It's a John Wick prequel. So it's all about I believe, the creation of the hotel and all that kind of stuff. And Albert Hughes, of course, from the Hughes brothers, is going to direct 2 episodes of that series. That sounds great, but again, it's on Stars, and Stars, as far as I'm concerned, is dead to me. It's Lionsgate. Unfortunately, John Wick is a Lionsgate property, which means it's Stars. Stars and Lionsgate are intertwined in some kind of unholy union. So, of course, if you ever want to watch anything John Wick wise, it's through Lionsgate, unfortunately, and Stars. Stars sucks. So, unfortunately, I was looking forward to that, and also they were talking about doing another spinoff series called The Ballerina, which is supposed to be after John Wick 3 when you had the ballerinas and all that kind of stuff. But Stars airs Outlander. How can you hate that? Yeah, thanks for reminding me about why I hate that show, Stanley. I mean, why I hate Stars. I know it's your favorite. I know you have your 10-year subscription to Stars because that's how long Outlander has been renewed for, is for like another 10 or 15 years, right? Something like that. Yeah. And also, speaking of things that people didn't want, October 12th, Chucky, the TV series, is going to hit Sci-Fi. I saw the trailer for it, the teaser trailer for it, and I was just like, really? Do we really need this? It's on Sci-Fi, so luckily it'll only get 1 season, and it'll be a bad season at that, and then it'll get canceled. Maybe they'll move it over to Peacock. Oh man, Peacock is a shit show as well. And Applecrow says, is there anything, dare I say, good coming out soon? Yeah, there's Masters of the Universe Revelations is coming out. If you go to this website, Applecrow, I've heard if you go to this website called suspendedfanimation.com and you take a look at the schedule, there's this thing called future stuff that's coming up. And it's got all the stuff that's supposed to be coming up, like all the good stuff that's supposed to be coming up, because that's what this dude actually puts on there, from what I understand. So yeah, there's Masters of the Universe Revelations coming July 23rd, which is next week. Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, that's the 3rd in the series, is July 29th. Suicide Squad's coming out August 5th. From what I understand, like all the screeners for Suicide Squad, people are saying it's unlike anything they've ever seen before, that it's great, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, like I've been saying for a while now, that this is going to be the game changer for Warner Brothers if they're smart about it, if they're really smart about it. Stanley says, will Foundation on Apple TV be any good? No, it's on Apple TV. So sci-fi cancels sci-fi, not horror. It cancels horror though too, though, Penn. It really does. Albuquerque says that requires reading, which was recently made illegal here. That's true. Texas is rolling back to the 1800s. So with no power, you can carry guns, and yeah, reading has been outlawed. And you can marry freely within your family. Did I say that? Oh, I did say that one out loud, didn't I? Stanley says Stargirl will be out in August. That's true. It's going to be out August 12th, August 10th, actually. So August 10th, 11th, and the 12th, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. You got Stargirl that's coming out, which I didn't put on my list because, I only put the good stuff on there. Marvel's What If, the animated What If, is going to be on Disney Plus August 11th. Titan season 3 is going to be out August 12th. I only put that on there because of the dick jokes. I'm looking forward to the dick jokes. I really am. And then we have to go into September for Shang-Chi and Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is on September 23rd, season 3. That I'm really looking forward to, and I'm waiting for a fucking trailer for that one. Stanley says, I like the first episodes on Shmigadoon on Apple TV Plus. Okay. Yeah, I'm not looking at anything Apple, quite honestly. For the amount that they charge, and literally there's no shows on there that I was interested. I was just thinking about what shows they have, and my brain kind of blanked out because there really is nothing that's on there. There's nothing I want to see on Apple. See what I did? I named a show that was an Apple Plus show. See? Never mind. Stanley says Star Trek Lower Decks will be out on August 11th. Yeah, no one cares about that one. Yeah, anything on Paramount Plus is never going to get canceled at Star Trek. It's not going to happen. But yeah. And again, speaking of stuff that no one really wanted, HBO Max is looking at doing more animated spin-offs of Game of Thrones. Why? Because they can. I don't know. Well, also, it's the production value is cheaper by doing it animation-wise than it is doing live action. And they can do more stories that way without having to, again, having the expensive sets, trying to find somebody who can actually do, other than the writers, that can actually translate George R.R. Martin's procrastination, his writings into, being, if you will. Yeah. So milk that dead cash cow. Exactly. Beat that dead horse. Kind of like Paramount Plus and Star Trek. Apple Crow says Star Trek is the free puppies on the side of the CBS All Access fan. Is it? I don't know. I was gonna make a really bad joke, and I decided against it. Also, for some reason, somehow John Lithgow and Jennifer Carpenter, their characters are going to be reprising their roles in the new Dexter series. Now, if you saw the first series, which ended a couple years ago, spoiler alert, both those characters are dead. They died in the show Dexter. So somehow John Lithgow's character, who's his father, by the way, is supposed to be coming back from the dead, or going to be told in flashbacks. We don't know for sure. And Jennifer Carpenter, who played his sister in the show, who he was also briefly married to in real life, is somehow coming back to the show as well. Again, probably through flashbacks. I don't know for sure, but it's very weird. Maybe Dexter is a serial or resurrectionist now. That would be an interesting twist. He can now bring all the people, but only the people that he actually killed, he can bring them back from the dead. Which is a lot of people, honestly, but he'd have to do a lot of diving. Penn Farm Girl says it still hurts me a lot what they've done to track. Yeah, I agree with you, Penn. Um, I really agree with you, and I honestly I have to blame the Roddenberrys for that. Both Gene Roddenberry and Majel Barrett Roddenberry. I think that's what she changed her name to finally. For all of that, they were the ones who brought in the Hollywood writers, not the sci-fi writers, and agreed to it, ran with it, and that's what you get is this shit that we have going on right now. Yeah. Stanley says, was John Lithgow his real father? His adopted father was another guy whose name I don't remember right. Yeah, John Lithgow was supposed to be, I believe, his real father in the show. It's been a while since I've seen it, and I don't remember rightly. I know Sasha, if she was here, she would be on that shit in a minute because she's a huge Dexter fan. But if I remember correctly, I think he was the real father. Yeah. Who was a serial killer in his own right. Yeah. I that season was kind of hazy for me, if I remember correctly. Let's see, yeah, when I did there, hazy, if I remember correct. Yeah, never mind. I'm just throwing out these things as I'm going along here. Fahey said that there was a meeting fairly recently that basically set the rules of the multiverse in the MCU. So they are actually setting rules for multiverse in the MCU. That was supposed to be the whole point of the multiverse was there are no rules. That you can do whatever the fuck you want at this point. But now they're actually going to restrict it with rules, and I have a bad feeling about this. Is really what I do. I really do have a bad feeling about this one. I would rather see a no rules multiverse and just let it go, man. Have writers throwing out their most outlandish shit that they can throw out there, and if it works, it works, and if not, then don't do it. It doesn't hurt to have your writers pitch a whole bunch of shit to you. It really doesn't. That's how you get good stuff going on. Stanley says if there would be no rules, it would be difficult to care about anything. I'm talking about multiverse, Stanley. I'm not talking about society in general. That's a different thing altogether. Yeah. That's a different topic of conversation for a different channel, not this channel. So, Antonio Banderas has joined the cast of Indiana Jones 5. Sure, why not? Everyone else has joined now at this point, even though they are filming right now. But yeah, Antonio Banderas is now in the cast of Indiana Jones 5. And I wonder if Kate Blanchett's going to return, in this movie or man, there's a lot of people in this Indiana Jones 5. I would like to be proven wrong, but I have a bad feeling about it. I really just kind of want new stuff is really what I want. Like Doom Patrol is new as far as I'm concerned. There is good stuff coming from that. Um I want stuff like that is really what I want. Apple Crow says, I might agree, Dennis, but perhaps it might be better to have some kind of rules enforcement for some kind of orthodox plot to keep all the worst elements of a chaotic universe from ruining it. Possibly. Now you're going all grown up on me, Apple Crow. What the hell happened there? You know? Stanley says, does anyone care about Indy 5? Not really. Again, I'd like to be proven wrong that it's actually going to be worth it. I mean, James Mangold Mangold is on that. He's the one who did Logan, as well as other movies and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's a good director and a good writer. I'm just hoping that what he's going to do with Indiana Jones 5 is going to be good and not, Indiana Jones 4. So, yeah. Abercrombie says like some kind of multiverse uniformity agency. A MUA? I guess you could put a MUA in. Yeah. Stanley says it sounds as exciting as Avatar 2 to me. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, Avatar 2. That shit sailed like a long time ago, back in the 90s when it first came out. That was the 90s, right? It came out, or was it early 2000s? I can't remember anymore. All I know is that the first one was garbage for Avatar. It really was. And the last thing I've got here was I don't know if everyone saw, but there was this little trailer. Not even really a trailer. It was a video that Ryan Reynolds released. And it has Deadpool and Korg doing a reaction video to his Free Guy trailer. And supposedly this is how Deadpool has been introduced into the MCU is through this fucking little trailer. And I have it up on Suspended Fanimation's Facebook page. But yeah, supposedly this is really how Deadpool has been inserted into the MCU is through this reaction video trailer with Korg. And I'm like, what? Because I mean, they literally did the animation for Korg and everything. It's MCU. I mean, Taika Waititi came back and did the voice for Korg, and yeah, it was funny. I mean, definitely it was fun. I do love Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool at one point he turns to Korg and goes, "You got a Disney Plus series, don't you? You fuck." Which I thought was funny. Applecrow says that was an expensive bit to be a throwaway. I agree with you. That would be a very expensive bit to just be a throwaway. So obviously, that is how Deadpool, and it is really a Deadpool way of inserting himself into the MCU, and they did it after the Loki, multiverse episode. So kind of makes sense now that the multiverse is fair game. Yeah. And I agree with you, Stanley. It was great marketing for Free Guy, which is kind of weird that, Free Guy is, if I remember correctly, Warner Brothers. I want to say it's Warner Brothers. Maybe it's Sony. I think it's Sony, actually, which then would make sense. If it's Sony, then Disney and Sony have a little. Is it Fox? Oh, okay. It's Fox. Thank you. Oh, that's right. It's their burn off of Fox. So it is Disney. So yeah, it is. They're just promoting their own shit. So yeah. It's the last of the burn-off movies that Disney had from Fox before the merger. Fox had created a few movies, not being one of them. I forgot that's what it was. Yeah. Applecross is telling you we need a MUA. I think I can get Luke Wilson and Matt Damon to headline it. Uh-huh. MUA. Mwah. Moi. Moi. There you go. Moi. But that sounds French. This video is completely off the rails now at this point. That's all I got, for you guys news wise. There really wasn't much. There really wasn't. I even had to create something, to do that. But still. What else what are you guys watching out there? I know we're gonna be talking about some of this stuff tomorrow too, with Little Miss Piggy French. Hey man, I didn't say I speak fluent French or French at all. I only know some. Do I know any French bad words? Merde, merde. That's all I know in French. And I even probably mispronounced that, so fuck that. I do know more in Spanish and even Russian, believe it or not. She does say moi a lot, yes. I wonder what happened with that show. If Disney Plus is still going to keep this iteration of the Muppets that they put up there. Is that Spanish and no, it's Tovarish. It's with a T. And you know how I only know that, Apple Crow, is because I read comics. And you have, one of the X-Men, Colossus, who's Russian. He would always call people Tovarish, which means comrade. Yeah. Apple Crow says, like I said, Texan, I'm surprised you know how to work a computer, Apple Crow, and that you actually have access to a computer. I'm surprised the internet hasn't gone down yet, or the power. Are you running off a generator or something? And, are you doing some illegal stuff like, using a satellite, using technology against the laws of Texas? I'm gonna get so much shit for this one. I really am, but I really don't care. Oh man. Applecross, I live on the border of upper class neighborhood in the medical district, so we have the actual grid. Oh, okay. So you're kind of on the safe side. So it was kind of funny. I mentioned this briefly yesterday in the Star Wars Bad Batch video, but I went into Twitter and I looked at it briefly yesterday, and I want to say it was like Warner Brothers. Yeah, I think it was HBO Max. Actually, it was HBO Max. They tweeted out that Superman Batman Dawn of Love there was an Ultimate Edition that was coming out to stream, and I said, "Oh, it feels it's out, stream it and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah," I retweeted back, and I'm like, "Thanks, but I'll pass," is what I said. But and I just want to be positive about it. I said, "Keep making more content like Doom Patrol and DC, DC Harley Quinn. I'll watch that." And I started getting shit from, not a lot of people, but a few people here and there. And I guess 3 of them now are associate producers of Zack Snyder movies. Basically, they got Zack a cup of coffee once and they were made an associate producer. Um, which is pretty common from what I understand. So I haven't re-engaged. I haven't. I don't re-engage. I don't engage with Snyder fans, restore the Snyderverse fans, mainly because I think of them as QAnon people. Where there's no reasoning with them whatsoever, and so it's not really worth it. It's just kind of it's like masturbating with a cheese grater is really what it is. It doesn't serve a purpose. Um, so yeah. Um, Stanley says, and you're wrong about Bad Batch. It's not Shakespeare, but it's fine for what it is. I don't know what it is, but neither does it. But still, yeah. Apple Crow says, I agree. I'm surprised Dennis isn't enjoying it as much. I understand his complaints, but I'm still having fun. Yeah. But anyway, going back to the whole Snyderverse thing, I was thinking about this again this morning, and I'm like, okay, well, if these movies are so good, I mean, you have 2 of the most iconic characters, 2 of the most world renowned and world recognized characters, Superman and Batman, in the same movie. That movie has not broken $1 billion worldwide. You know what has broken $1 billion worldwide? Iron Man 2. Thor 2, Dark World, has broken $1 billion. Thor 2. Think about that for a minute. That was the bad Thor. Broke $1 billion, excuse me. But Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Love did not. As a matter of fact, none of the Zack Snyder movies, Man of Steel, Batman, Superman, Dawn of Love, have not broken $1 billion. I believe even Iron Man 3 broke $1 billion. So that in and of itself shows you why that the Snyderverse is being canceled. And I don't even saying canceled not in that way that everyone's been using it lately. I'm talking about that the executives at Warner Brothers are like, you know what? This isn't making us any money the way it should be. We're going to go with somebody else. So, hey, Filthy. Stanley says Thor 2 is pretty bad, or yeah, it's mediocre, Stanley. I wouldn't say it's bad. It just was kind of a boring story. It really was. You can't say canceled, Dennis. That's been canceled. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, no, I was just thinking about it, and Penn says I don't remember Thor 2, but it had Hemsworth, so it's still watchable, even though I prefer my British boy. um, so yeah, Penn, that was the one where Jane Foster, she got one of the Infinity Stones like trapped in her or something like that, and they had to go to Asgard, and it had the Dark Elves that wanted to bring darkness to the universe again. It was pretty bad. Exactly, Stanley. It's bad for MCU movies, which are a different caliber of movies. They really are. Yeah. And I look at it at the Thor series. It's the bottom of all the Thor series, movies. Ragnarok, of course, being the best one. Hence, I think I blocked it out. A lot of people did. But it made $1 billion worldwide, unlike Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Love, or Man of Steel. Both Zack Snyder movies. Yeah. So I can't get into arguments with people about that on Twitter just because again, like I said, it's one of those things that there's no arguing with those people and it's just pointless. So you're just like, uh-huh, sure, great, thanks, bye. Mute is what you do, and you just mute them. You mute the conversation. Applegrove says it had Kat Dennings though. True, it did. It did have Kat Dennings in it. Filthy. Yeah, I did actually do a whole video on that one. But yes, I did like it. Yeah. So I man. Yeah, I gotta just stop, I guess, responding to some things on Twitter. Um and the thing was I thought I was just being okay. I was being honest. I had no interest in Batman, Superman, Dawn of Love. Um, but I did have interest in some of the other DC. And the other thing that made me laugh about this too was one of the people who replied to me that I had shit taste, basically, was saying, "Do you even know? Or do you even read?" The only thing was missing from this, so he goes, "Do you even know anything about DC Universe, brah?" That was the only thing that was missing from it was the bra at the end of that comment, basically trying to nerd shame me on that one, and I didn't respond back to it because I was like, yeah, former comic book store owner. No, I don't know anything about any DC Universe stuff whatsoever. And then he proceeds to shit on Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn, saying that it's the worst DC properties ever. And I'm like, you obviously have never watched it and know nothing about DC Universe stuff. So anyway, off my rant box there. Applecrow says, I realize there are 2 MCU movies I haven't watched. I think I might watch Ant-Man and the Wasp tonight. That was actually fun. It's not great, but it's fun. Still debating if I should even bother with Captain Marvel. It's not necessary, Applecrow, unless you want to be pissed off about how Nick Fury loses his eye. That's about it. That's the only spoiler in that. And yeah. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I mean, it's fun. It's just and it also sets up Endgame, because what happens with Scott in Endgame. Yeah. Because you don't understand. You just don't understand the comics, Dennis. No, I don't. I don't know anything about comics at all. Apricot says that's been spoiled already. Okay. I would say if you really wanted, if you're going to do this, Apple Crow, watch Captain Marvel first. That way you can get the disappointment out of the way, and then you can be treated with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm gonna say this, Apple Crow. She's actually the worst thing in it. She really is. I don't know how she got the job. That's all I can say. Yeah, because that was some really horrible act. I mean, you could tell the levels of acting in there. Like all the rest of the cast are here, and she's someplace underneath the table here, down by the floor. No, I've rewatched it again, Penn, and I was actually surprised at how bad she is in it. Uh, Stanley says, "Why do associate producers waste their time?" So, Stanley, if you've ever seen a Zack Snyder movie, if you look in the credits, the associate producers are a dime a dozen on his movies. I mean, literally, they litter the. It's like 5 minutes worth of credits of nothing but associate producers in his movies. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't make any difference who they are. They just uh, they really don't matter, to tell you the truth. I hate to say this, in the grand scheme of things in the movies and stuff like that, they just really don't matter because there's so many of them. Like I said, you get Zach a cup of coffee, you become an associate producer on the movie. You say hi to Zach, you become, a producer on the movie or something like that. You know, you get some kind of credit in there. Yeah. And why do you, Dennis? Why do I waste my time on Twitter, Stanley? No, I was actually just responding back to HBO Max that I like Doom Patrol and I like Harley Quinn, and I want more of that stuff versus that I really have no desire to see another recut of, a Zack Snyder movie. I really don't. This is the other thing too. So going into all of this, I really don't need to see more release the whatever cut of whatever director had been maligned by whatever studio. Honestly, I don't give a shit at that point. If the movie's, 3 years old or more than that, it's done. Don't bother with it unless you're going to release a director's cut literally right after the movie has come out of the theater and attach it like they used to do back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. That's when you do it. You release a director's cut and you say, okay, here's the theatrical version. Here's this director's cut. That's it. Then you're done. No more Ridley Scott, 75th recut of Blade Runner. No, this is really, I had a dream about something while I was in the shower, and we finally got the money together in order to do a digital recreation of it. I'm putting them into the movie. And this is going to be the ultimate edition of the movie. Fuck that. It's done. Be done with it. Be over with it. I know as an artist, you really want to just keep noodling at stuff and working it and reworking it and reworking it. Stop. You just need to let it go at some point and move on to another project. That's really what you need to do. Especially when it's a failed project. Didn't make the money that it should have, like Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Love. So, what about the Donner cut? So, the Donner cut, I agree with you. I have it up here, but I like the theatrical version. I like the theatrical version of Superman, the first Superman. The second Superman, yeah, he got screwed on it. I mean, but that's because he walked away from it. At that point, he's got no claim to it. Donner doesn't have any claim to it. That he put out the Donner cut, sure. I mean, Warner Brothers made money off of it. They did. But If you're spending your own money to do this, like Lucas did with the special editions, that's fine. He owns the production company that's doing it, and he is the director, writer of that movie or those movies. And that's why he did the special editions for Star Wars. That's perfectly fine. He's putting his own money into it. But when you're using Warner Brothers movies, Warner Brother money, $40 million that could have gone to do, any kind of movie, a new movie for Warner Brothers, rather than just, you know, making a boring movie even longer and more boring. There's no reason to it. There really isn't. McClunky. Yeah, McClunky is right. Better than Ruby Rose, though. So now, I just read something in passing. I guess Ruby Rose on Batwoman, she was allergic to the latex in the suit for Batwoman. And she says that was the reason why she was forced to relinquish the role of Batwoman, was because she was allergic to the latex in the suit and couldn't wear the suit. Uh, mm, uh, because I mean, usually with latex allergies, which are severe, they just switch the material. That's really what they do. You switch over the material, because that is actually, and I hate to say this, if you are allergic to latex, that is actually a medical condition that falls under certain working conditions, and I'm going to call bullshit on that one. That's what I'm going to do, because that's when you just go to labor relations at that point and go, no, you're not going to fire me because it's a medical condition. So you need to make accommodations for that if you are going to do this. And if you can't make reasonable accommodations, then you need to come to some some understanding. Yeah. Maybe it was cheaper to get rid of the actor. No, no, because again, like I said, this, especially since they were filming in Vancouver, I think it was still under a California production though, so it would fall under California rights at that point, California working rights, and so she would still have that protection. So sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do some of this stuff for a living, and if you can't make a reasonable accommodations, medical accommodations for workers, for allergies and things like that, then it's on the company. It is not on the person, and they can't be fired for it. So that's why I'm saying this coming out now, like what is it, 2 years after she's been gone, or a year and a half that she's been gone? I'm calling bullshit on it. And it was such a small blurb of an article that came through. No one else picked it up. No one else picked up the Kate Heron one either. So I mean, yeah. Applecross, I was joking. I've seen John Wick too. Okay. uh, and also they weren't paying Ruby Rose that much money anyway, because she's not really an actress. Um, okay, I'm bad. I was mean about that one. She was still better than what's her name in Ant-Man and the Wasp, who played Ghost. Your girl from Killjoys, Applecrow, yeah, which isn't saying much. I'm just saying, prepare yourself for that one, man. She's not good in this one. Yeah, she really isn't good. Like I said, I would go with Captain Marvel first, so you can get the disappointment out of the way if you really need to go and see it, and then watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. It does bring the scrolls into Captain Marvel, so that's about the only thing I would say is positive about Captain Marvel, and also Monica and Rambeau. Yeah, actually, you know what? Captain Marvel does tie into WandaVision a bit more now I think about it. Excuse me. Yeah, Captain Marvel does tie into WandaVision a bit more. So that would be the thing to watch it for. Because of Monica Rambeau and all that stuff. So yeah. Stanley says they should create a Woody Award. Ruby Rose and Brie Larson would be nominated every year. Uh, man. Yeah, there's male actors out there too. Remember Babylon 5? I know Penn remembers Babylon 5. So you remember the guy who was the first commander of Babylon 5? How wooden his acting was? I mean, it was very wooden. He would have gotten a Woody every year. I'm not talking about a boner either. I'm talking about, that's a different award altogether, the boner. I'll be here all week, folks. Tip your waitresses and try the fish. There's a snake in my boot. Don't you dare malign Valen like that. I just did. He wasn't as bad as Bree. He was pretty bad. I mean, you got to admit, Penn, he was pretty bad. But it was TV in the 90s. So, yeah. I think you all have nostalgic memories. Go back and watch it if you can find it. I don't know where it's at now. Actually, that should be on HBO Max, to tell you the truth. If anything needs to have like a digital conversion or something like that, see, instead of spending that $40 million or 80 million, was it $80 million they paid Zack Snyder to redo the Snyder cut for Justice League? They could have used half that money or even a quarter of that money to redo Babylon 5 to bring it up to HD standards and all that kind of stuff and clean it up and whatnot. That would have been money well spent. It had an HD conversion. Okay. Oh, you just watched it recently. Oh, that was on HBO Max. I didn't know that. And I'll have to go and check it out then. Because I did like that show. That was a great show. And like I said, they actually use science within that too. Science. It was one of the first sci-fi shows that actually did deal with some science, I have to admit. Yeah, Jakar and Londo are awesome. Man, if only there was some kind of weekly show about genre news. Touche, motherfucker. Uh, oh, thanks, Apple Crow. Yeah. Oh my God. Best frenemies ever. um, how does the HD B5 CG look? It's asking Penn. That's a good question. I'm kind of interested in that too. I have to take a look at it now since that's on. I've been watching so it's kind of funny. I've been watching The Last Kingdom, even though it got canceled on Netflix. It went 4 seasons. I didn't even realize this show was out there. But so for those of you who don't know what The Last Kingdom is, it takes place in Proto England, I guess you could say, and it's England before it becomes a country, of course, in the 900s, 870s to like 900s AD is where you're at. And it talks about King Alfred and the Danes, basically the Vikings coming in and pillaging and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it was actually a decent show. It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. It got repetitive though. I mean, it really did. But and the main character Uhtred, who was a Saxon who had been taken by the Danes, raised as a Dane, and but still was called the Dane killer because he would kill. So Vikings could not kill Vikings unless they were, they set themselves up in a square. They basically, it's a call out. Yeah. So it wasn't bad. Um, Stanley says Last Kingdom was a good solid show. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, the way they ended it season 4 though, I mean, yes, they were going on and on and on. It was the same ending that happened in season 2, the same ending that happened in season 3, but yeah. You need to finish Last Kingdom 10, is that what you're saying? Or Babylon 5? Uh, Raymond says, "Is that the one where Mark Hamill is a knight?" No. The one where Mark Hamill is a knight is Nightfall. So Nightfall is actually really good. There's only 2 seasons of it though. It's just 2 seasons. And Mark Hamill's in the 2nd season. Tech War is horrible. Oh my god. I remember watching Tech War on, oh god, what the hell was that station? It was before the CW. And I can't remember. Cleopatra 2025 was on it too. As was Jack of all Spades. God, I can't remember the name of that show now, or the channel that it was on. It was a really cheesy network. It was the precursor to the CW. Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Stanley said I could not watch Nightfall for long. I stopped after a few episodes. The 2nd season's better. UPN, thank you, Penn. Yes, UPN. Yeah, UPN. That's where Buffy started off on, was UPN. Then it moved over to fuck, what did it move over to? I can't remember what it moved over to. Oh, thanks, Apple Crow. Apple Crow said. I missed that. Sorry, Penn. I'm kind of blocking Apple Crow out now after the shade he threw. Penn says Voyager launched on, yeah, that's right. Voyager launched on UPN. There's a lot of shows that launched on UPN. There was something even before UPN though. Oh my god. Remember they did a really bad Smokey and the Bandit TV show? It was along with Cleopatra 2025. Again, it was in that whole block. So there was a it was before UPN even, and I can't remember the name of it, but they would have a block of shows that basically were testing to see what shows would work and what shows wouldn't. And so, like I said, Cleopatra 2025 was one of them that actually made it. There was Smokey and the Bandit TV series that was really fucking bad that didn't make it. Um, oh god, what else was there? There was a whole bunch of shit on there. I mean, it was interesting because they would just throw a whole bunch of stuff at you. It was literally like just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what stuck. And, I actually remember there's a lot of really shit shows that you sit through and you're like, "Thank God that was only half an hour." Uh, Stanley said, "I rewatched an episode of Space 1999 recently. It was still fun, but much crappier than I remember." Yeah, actually, I liked Space 1999. I forget who had it on. I wanna say it was one of, like, the free, it's like Stirred. Stirred is one of the free apps out there that has, movies all the time and TV series, and yeah, they had Space 1999. Actually, they have a channel on Stirred that's nothing but Space 1999, and, yeah, the quality, I mean, come on, it was the '70s, it's BBC, so they had even less money than, like, the network TVs in the United States, and, yeah. And they were using a lot of British actors. Brian Blessed is in there, in one of the early episodes. You might remember him from Flash, as the lead, the Hawkman King. Flash alive? Him, yes, that's the man. Stanley says Space Above and Beyond was also quite okay. Yeah, that one still pisses me off to this day, but that was on Fox, Stanley. Space Above and Beyond, the ending for that one, because they got canceled. They ended it on a cliffhanger, and I was really pissed about that one. And Space Above and Beyond is the first, if I remember correctly, first TV series to have a mainstream porn actress come over and do legitimate TV. Ashlyn Gear, that's what her name was. Yeah, she was actually one of the robots that became one of the lead robots that was, fucking with people and whatnot. Not literally fucking with people because that was her other gig, but yeah. See, I'm a wealth of useless information. I didn't even have to search the internet for that one. That was in my brain. For no, it's good for what it was, but it was no Blake 7. Well, it was no Red Dwarf, but yeah, I've been slowly but surely making my way back through the whole Prisoner TV series too. It's on Amazon Prime, so every now and then I'll, you know, go through a spurt where I'll watch like 2 or 3 episodes because they're an hour long. They're pretty much the same episode every single time too. There's only little variances to them, and I can never remember if that was the previous episode that I just watched because they were just so similar. I mean, it's still good, but yeah. Is Blake Seven's actually good? I've never made it through Blake 7, to tell you the truth. I stopped watching. I couldn't make it through it. There are a lot of people that swear by it. I am not one of them. Yeah. I just realized Captain Kirk over here is just all lonely. Need to put some more stuff up there. All right. See by the clock on the wall that it's time to go. Alvarez says Blake 7 is very much worth it. The special effects are very, very, very BBC, but the story and characters are great. Mm-hmm. I'll take your word for it, Apple Crow. Although he is from Texas, so. What else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow is going to be another attempt at spoiler alert. Hopefully, we can actually make this one. Spoiler alert, where we talk about anything that's come out, and if you want to be spoiled, you can be spoiled by it. If not, stay out because spoilers will abound in that thing. Monday, I'll be off. Tuesday is going to be another episode. It was it worth my time? And I think I'm going to cover Monsters at Work is what I'm going to cover. So there's the Disney Plus series Monsters at Work based on the Monsters Incorporated movies. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that one. That was kind of weird. Got something dropped at the door. Wednesday, I'm going to be off. Thursday, I'm going to be off. And Friday is going to be another episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. We'll see what happens with that one. And then Saturday, we roll back around again to Saturday morning blast off where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And we talk about it. So, yes, Stanley, I'm not going to say anything as of yet, but Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you to everybody joining me today in the chat. And thank you for making it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages up there as well. Apple Crow says, being from Texas is like being thrown overboard from a boat. And when you're crawled halfway in the other Texas, pull you back in the water. But at least it's not Florida. It's true. Texas is kind of like Florida, but with rules, right? There we go. Stanley says, will you do something with Masters of the Universe? Yes, I will. But that's next week, Stanley. I'm just going to be covering on Is It Worth My Time? That's all I'm going to be doing. because again, like I said, I can't go episode by episodes on shit that gets dropped on Netflix like that anymore, just because everyone doesn't watch it. They don't watch the episode by episode. They just want to get to the next one. Talk about the whole series all at once. All right. So, yeah. Texas is Florida from the 1800s. Oh my God, that's funny. Less meth, more guns. Actually, I think it's the same amount of guns. And I would say there's just about as much meth, too, right? Because I'm not a gun owner and I only have two. Don't they give you guns when you first, when you're born? Don't they, as a wedding gift or a birth gift from the hospital? Doesn't the doctor give the mother a gun, and then isn't that what for the child? Of course, it's a child's first gun. It's a little tiny thing. Florida looks better from a distance. Orbital, is that what you're saying, Penn? All right, enough state bashing. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up having to live in Texas or Florida. Um, I kid. Somewhat. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.